Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea, which means that we have a new Premier League champion this year over at West London. Drogba he was idolized by Romelu Lukaku. It's a Romelu Lukaku that he's going to emulate one of his all-time heroes, the one and only Didier Drogba. The 21-22 Premier League is the 30th edition of the Premier League. Inter's Championship 30, Romelu's Championship 30, 29 prior Premier Leagues. London can win this particular Premier League. London has Championship 74. It is Chelsea that can have 7 titles and 4 runner-ups, whereas City has the same amount of English titles as Chelsea, 7-7, because of Lukaku. Lukaku's got Championship 77. The first opponent of the season is Crystal Palace. Scudetto winner Lukaku is now over at Chelsea. Crystal's got the Championship champions. Looking very good for Crystal Palace. Drogba has Championship 29. 29 prior Premier League winners before this one. And for Chelsea, they're trying to win the Premier League for the first time since Conte, beginning in the year 21, since manager Antonio Conte back in 2017. And for Chelsea, they have to do this and dethrone Manchester City, which an interesting thing about 2016-17 is that that's a 53 year. And this is the Championship of Chelsea. Chelsea are going to win the English Premier League this year for the first time since 2017. Some 5 years later in 2022. And this would be the 22nd title won by a club in London. This is where you get Milan. The city of Milan, not necessarily AC Milan, but still Milan holds quite a bit of significance. Chelsea's the 108th competitive season, 33rd consecutive season, the top flight. English Premier League is Championship 33. Freemasonic is Championship 108. Masonry is Championship 33. I'm really liking Thomas Tuchel and company to win the English Premier League this year. As a matter of fact, they may be focusing their efforts on the Premier League after winning the Champions League. I think finishing was the biggest weakness for Chelsea last year, and an American can win a Premier League for the first time. We're talking about Pulisic. He's got the same Championship as Chelsea FC when he computed. In Aston Villa, the big acquisition was Jack Grealish. But I like Chelsea to win the Premier League.